Hey, I'm John Feitelberg, and this is the one thing I learned. All right, we got a quicker one for you this week. When I was I'm gonna guess, freshman in high school, sophomore in high school maybe, my parents built a new garage. It was a little set off from the house. It was a 2-story garage that had up on top a sizable, not huge, but enough to have a high school type party, second floor, and far enough away that sound didn't really travel as much. Really the perfect place for someone who was just going into their high school prime. Parties never really happened there. I did have about 12 friends over one time, and we just made prank calls all night. I was just calling because I live down the street from you, and your daughter today, she come to my house and she kicked my dog.
Hello? Is your refrigerator running? Hey, is Al there? Yeah, alcoholic.
There's a bomb in the building! No alcohol was consumed. It wasn't super cool. But what it ended up morphing into was something of a love shack for my brother and I, not together, separately. I would bring girls up there, and then after a few years when he grew up, he would take girls up there, and we would, do what kids do, Bump uglies most of the time. Now, I was a smarter person in the sense that when I was done having safe sex, I would take the condom off, I'd tie it up, I'd put it in a Gatorade bottle, almost like, how Nick Cage took out the balls of the VX gas in The Rock? That's like how I lowered a used condom into a Gatorade bottle. I tied it tight, like it was a poison that was gonna escape, put it in my backpack, and then when I get to school the next day, I would dispose of the Gatorade bottle, throwing it away off the property, not at my parents' house. They couldn't, if the raccoons going through the dumpsters or the raccoons going through the trash, they were never gonna find it. I was making sure this was at least thrown away in a different zip code, as if I was committing murders. Like, all right, gotta put the body, this side of the state line, and this side of the state line is the head, this one's the arm. Separate everything. My brother took a different approach. My brother, he would take his condom off, and he'd just throw it out the window of the garage. So one day, in the winter, my dad sets like an alarm, like every 2 hours. Like snow's not allowed to build up on our property because like what? If you're not paying the mortgage, you're not sticking around here. So he just kicks snow out every 2 hours. Just gets up starting at midnight, 2 a.m. shoveling, making sure it doesn't get too high. I prefer to be lazy, sleep in, and then just go help him out a little bit later. But one morning he's out there shoveling, and our neighbor comes over. A neighbor we didn't get along with too well, and he's like, "John, I gotta talk to you." And my dad's sweating, probably grunting. What is it? What is it? He goes, "You kid. I mean, you gotta tell him to stop throwing the condoms into my yard." And my dad was like, "What, dude? Like, you're coming at me like I knew about this. Like I've been condoning this. Like I've let it go on long enough. It's time to put a stop to it." So my dad's like, what are you talking about?" He says, "Your kids have been throwing condoms into my yard for like years now." And in my dad's mind, he's like, "You've just been allowing this to happen for years? Condoms have been landing in your yard and you've been okay with it?" And my dad's kind of giggling to himself, kind of thinking, "What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?" And he's like, "All right, I'll let him know. I'll pass the message along. I had no idea about it, but I'll let him know." And my dad gets back to shoveling, and the guy says, "John, one more thing. There's a condom on my windshield right now. Could you please get it for me?" So my dad goes over into the guy's yard and into his driveway and sees like a condom like sunk into the snow, because this guy is not a maniac like my dad. Hasn't been getting up every 2 hours to make sure the snow didn't build up. So there's a sizable amount of snow built up on this guy's windshield with a condom just sunk into it. My dad gets a shovel, just scoops it off his windshield, carries it into our yard, throws it in the trash. But the thing about it is, like, the neighbor doesn't live that close to us. So, like, my brother wasn't just opening the window and just, like, chucking it out, like, just a quick drop. He was taking a crow hop to throw this thing. Probably whipping it around like a mace a little bit and then letting it fly. I mean, honest to God, this was a good, I'm trying to guess 70 feet away. That's a far throw for a condom. I mean, congrats on the big loads, I guess. I don't know. That's a good chuck. You got to have some weight in that condom to be able to throw it that far. So I guess in that respect, I have to tip my cap to him because he was trying to get it off of our property. He was at least trying that. And I guess the one thing I learned out of all this, comparing my brother's story and mine, is just throw your condoms in the trash. Like just wrap it in a tissue paper and throw it away. You don't have to cross. I was literally crossing state lines. So I went to school in a different state. It wasn't really going out of my way, but I was crossing state lines to throw away my own DNA. My brother is taking crow hops like he's in center field at Fenway to throw it away. Just wrap it in the tissue. No one goes through the trash. No one goes through the trash. No one's like, wait, what's in here? What's in here? What did they throw away? People don't go through trash. Trash is disgusting. No one goes through it. Just put your condom in a napkin and a tissue, wrap it up, put it in the trash. Done with sex.
Listen, if you made it this far into the video,
Which is far. Like, no one ever does that on the internet.
like it's the end. You made it to the end of the video.
full fucking video
You
you
watched
did.
the whole thing. So if you liked it and you watched the whole thing, why don't you subscribe?
It means you like us.
Click the subscribe button, because if you don't, I'm gonna fucking murder John.
And I'm gonna like it.
Kill him with my bare fucking hands.
Yeah.
And if you weren't sold on this video, there's plenty more. Watch what's next up and then subscribe. But just subscribe so I don't have to fucking kill him.
Well, I don't know. Do what you want, but subscribe. Probably.